Hello everybody, Meteorologist Noah Bergren here on a Wednesday afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock. Hope you've had a great day out there so far and you are enjoying the lovely weather. As Luann, John, and I were discussing yesterday, we are going to run out of words to describe how nice it is. I might have to call on some other colleagues in the building here to come up with some words of nice. I think stupendous was the SAT word of the day we came up with yesterday, but any way you slice it, it is just perfect out in Florida right now. And the good news is it's going to stay that way heading into the weekend. As I start you with a view right now outside from the radar, and you can see there's really nothing going on. In fact, it's completely clear out there. There's nothing really to talk about outside right now. So there's the radar currently. Let me show you around Central Florida, take you to Lake Fairview right now. You see the palms. This is one of our good cameras to determine the wind speed. You notice there's really not much in the way of movement there right now from the palms. Big win last night for the Magic versus the Warriors. They have another home game Saturday versus the Knicks. Being there's a lot of tri-state transplants here, myself included, probably be a highly attended event Saturday if you're going to be going to that or anything else this weekend. Weather should be great, just like it was last weekend for the Warped Tour. Down the road there, you still see the clearing there by Camping World Stadium for where the Warped Tour was. Anything outside through the weekend is just fantastic, and it's going to stay fantastic through at least the day before Thanksgiving, which we'll talk about more coming up in a second. So let me know where you're watching from. If you have a question, comment, or a concern, love to hear from you. Remember, those of you who are watching us on our web and app stream, otherwise known as Fox Local, you'll see a 2-minute break at 3:10, then at 3:20. So if you see me or us ever get cut off, 2-minute break every day, 3:10, and also at 3:20. Just so you know about that. But on Facebook, YouTube, we'll keep rocking with you here through 3:30. All right, so it's warmer today as it was expected to be. It's 82 right now in Orlando, 83 in Ocala, just slightly, 84 in Tallahassee. It's 85 in Fort Myers, but the air is still really kind of dry. So even though it is getting warmer, it's not super humid quite yet. And the reason why is we've got high pressure here over the northeastern Gulf. And you can see the streamlines on here pushing the wind down like this from the north, and that's keeping the humidity actually pretty low here in Florida right now. You see the dew points are only in the 50s. It's 58 in Ocala, 57 in Orlando. You see this dry northwesterly wind. Not really till you get down into South Florida, you get more of an easterly component to the wind, hence the humidity is a little higher down there. So let me know where you're watching from. If you have a question, a comment, or a concern, would love to hear from you today and always and forever. Let's see, today's the 19th. Hello, Phyllis, yesterday. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. It's an early Thanksgiving wish. Hello, hello, hello. Appreciate you watching here. First comment of the day. Hello, Phyllis, how are you? Let's see what else we got here. I'm looking for cool weather to come back, says Elizabeth. Yes, I hear you. And I think we're going to get it big time, probably just after Thanksgiving. So the air is dry today. Temperatures out there right now are still pretty decent, about 77 in Cocoa Beach, 79 in Melbourne, 82 in the Villages, 81 in Palm Coast, 80 in Daytona Beach, 78 in New Smyrna, and 83 in Winter Haven. So it is really, really nice out there. Now, the temperatures across the country, let's take a look at this. There's a huge front to our north, and I want you to spot where the front is. I'll take the temps off here, and we'll just go like this. How's this sound? So you can clearly tell where jet stream is on this map just by looking at the temperature. So every time we show this, what you're looking for is what we call baroclinicity, or in other words, where's there a huge contrast in the temperature from really cold, which is up here, to really warm down here. And this is basically how you can predict the weather in the winter. This is your 4-year weather degree in about 2 minutes. So in the winter, you're looking for what's called baroclinicity. That's where cold and warm, and the greater the contrast, the greater the baroclinicity. And it's this corridor. Let me make this even bigger so you can see it. It's this corridor here where the big weather is, right there, where you get warm that clashes with cold. That line is where you get the big weather systems, and that's still to our north. Next week it's going to come south. closer to Florida, hence why the end of next week we should have a weather system. But this is where all the weather systems will track, is more or less along that line. And if you go to the radar, let's see what we got pulled up here. If you look at the rain over the past 2 days, boom, there you see, just like I drew, here, here, and here, that's where the jet stream is, which clearly you can see it, again, also on the temperature map. There it is. So we've got big baroclinicity to our north, and the temperatures, correspondingly so, are much cooler north of the front. You can see up here in the northeast, it's just 42 in Boston, 44 in New York, 38 in Syracuse, 42 in Philly, 43 in Chicago, 49 in Minneapolis. Come over here up to the upper plains. It's 37 in Minneapolis, 51 in Kansas City. But you go south, 86 in Dallas. Look at that, 86 in Dallas, 87 in Houston. It is really warm here. And this warm air is what's coming here. The air that's over here is going to come this way for the weekend. So those middle and upper 80s will be here by the time we get to the upcoming weekend. But still, looks like it's going to be very, very nice. All right, so let's talk about the Futurecast. Let's dial up your Futurecast here. Let me find my Fox model. So let's dial this in for you here, shall we? So this is the latest Fox model. But boom, I even had it ready for us. Look at that. Look at me go. So here's the weather right now. Notice it's completely clear and sunny in Florida. Very nice. It's because we've got a little bit of a northerly wind, and the reason why, so these isobars on here, you can use these to make it a little thicker. There you go. Notice we've got the lines like this, like that, and like that. There's your jet stream I showed you on the temperature map, and right here is high pressure over the Gulf, and that's what causes the air to go like that. And anytime we've got a northwest wind here, it's going to be pretty cool. And you've got storminess here and storminess here going around the ridge. So let's watch how things play out, and notice going into Thursday, big thunderstorms here through Texas and Oklahoma, even some into Tennessee and Kentucky, but we're still dry here. Going into Friday, still dry, high still overhead. But notice much of this weather here misses us to the north. It goes up and over the ridge and misses us here in Florida. So we're not going to really get any of that. Now the next system, here it is, another one coming into the Four Corners region, another with storms on the lee of this, call it the forward part. See it, nice upper level low here, and some storms and rain on the eastern side of that low. That's going to track up and over the ridge again. But notice it starts to get a little bit flatter here, the ridge by the weekend. So another round of storms in the plains. This one could be more severe, I think. This is as far out as this goes. Now this will not be the storm that gives us weather for after Thanksgiving. This is Monday now. Notice low up here, warm front, cold front. Air will be blowing like this. So we're going to continue to get milder with a wind more from the southwest as opposed to the northwest heading into the weekend in early next week. So we're completely dry through Saturday, Sunday. In fact, let me pull up the rain chances here and I'll show you. They are zero, zilch, nada. At least they should be. Yep, zero, zilch, nada through Monday, which the drought is going to continue to get worse. So here are the temperatures tonight. 50s to low 60s. 55 Gainesville, 56 the Villages, 60 or so in Orlando, and 63 in Melbourne. And the highs for tomorrow, you see them right here. Probably something on the order of upper 70s to low to mid 80s. It should be very nice. So let me know where you're watching from. If you have a question, comment, or concern, we're going to get into now more a little bit on the longer range stuff and also the Thanksgiving forecast and the potential cold after. But here is the mean pattern through the end of the month and early to mid-December. Very wet and rainy in the Midwest, very dry in the East and especially Florida. Don't really see this changing. I mean, this is a classic La Nina pattern. La Nina is not going to hold all the way through the spring. It will end probably sometime in March, later February or March. But until then, very likely dry in Florida, very wet in the middle part of the country. So let's talk about Thanksgiving here, shall we? Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hope you've had a great day today. Sorry about that. So if you have a question, put it in Facebook, YouTube. Love to hear from you. Um, Hi, Alice from Winter Haven. How are you? Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Happy Thanksgiving, Phyllis, to everyone who's watching. Hello, Michael from Orlando. What's up, Michael? Michael. Hello, my friend. See if we get you on here. Hello, Michael. Appreciate you watching. Nice of you to check in with us there. From Orlando. It's a lovely day in Orlando. And on YouTube, we've got a nice comment here. Regular watcher of ours from Elizabeth. Hello from Titusville. From Elizabeth, appreciate you watching on Titusville. All right, so let's get into more of the Thanksgiving forecast now, shall we? So this is the temperature forecast right now. So our next big thing, which is Thursday of next week. Now, here is the early call. These are the highs on Thanksgiving. And what you're looking at here is a big storm. Let me change the color of this telestrator so you can see it. So here's the highs for Thanksgiving. But what you want to bring your attention to here is this low here and a big cold front like this. And then there's a warm front. So the air is coming like this, like that, and then up like this. So on the south side of the front, it's pretty warm with southwest winds, and this cold front's going to push south into Florida after Thanksgiving into Black Friday weekend. So the highs right now on Thanksgiving, about 24 in Minneapolis, 32 in Denver, 33 Kansas City, 52 in Dallas, 45 Nashville, 48 in Boston, 75 in Orlando. So Orlando's looking good, but going to Black Friday, the cold really starts to push south. In fact, notice that front. The low would be about here. The front is almost through Florida. And you've got a huge dip in the jet stream bringing down cold air. This is the highs on Black Friday. So it does look like Black Friday into next Saturday are going to get much colder. Now, I don't think it's as headline-making, historic, record-shattering, this, that, and the other as what we just had. But it's going to be pretty notable. So the averages for Thanksgiving, let's take a look at those. So the average high on Thanksgiving in Orlando is 77. Last year, the high was 82. It was actually a pretty decently nice Thanksgiving here last year in Central Florida. The hottest Thanksgiving ever was 87 for a high. Very hot Thanksgiving Turkey Day then in 1973. The coldest was 36. So this is the time of the year where our records actually have quite a bit of spread. The spring and the fall are when Orlando's weather records are furthest apart, because that's when we can have extremes on both sides. You know, in winter we really don't have extreme heat ever. A record high would be like 85 in a large part of the dead of winter. And in the summer, obviously, we don't have a lot of record cold. But in fall and spring, we can have both. So even though we don't get a lot of seasons in the same week like in the Midwest, this is the time of the year where we can have one side or the other to a big degree. And you can see the record low, 36. From 1930, 1925, and 1911, it was 36 degrees in Central Florida for Thanksgiving, and the hottest, again, 87 from 1973. So at least this year, the early call is around average. But what we will be watching for is, let me take you through this now. So this is the European model. Now, I want to stress, I am not sold on big rain and storms here Thursday and Friday of next week. I've already seen some proclaiming there's going to be this epic rain and thunderstorm thing here. That's very far from a done deal yet. That's number one, but nevertheless. So let's take you through here. So here's Wednesday, midday of next week for the travel day. Not bad. I mean, what you're looking at here is a big low up here, a front, and then another front. So very cold air screaming into the Midwest like this, with some showers here in Florida, South Georgia, and some rain up into New England. Maybe some flurries in Denver, but nothing really, I don't think, at least now, it's going to be super major. Now, the interesting thing here is that this is Thanksgiving at 2 p.m. First of all, really, really big lake effect snow. This is Thanksgiving. So if you are going We've got, look, it's Florida. A lot of people here are transplants from up north. Maybe we've got many here in our newsroom from Michigan and Wisconsin. Maybe you're going back home up there for Thanksgiving. Look at all the snow flurries you have here. With a strong northwest wind over these lakes, could be quite a bit of lake effect snow. Places like Detroit, Kalamazoo, Milwaukee, Green Bay, Erie, and Buffalo. That's Thanksgiving afternoon. And here, this is the European model. Interestingly, wants to develop a front with rain and storms. I don't know. I think I'm not going to say this can't happen, but how the model is coming up with this, I think is a little bit bogus, given the synoptic setup. So meaning that the large scale pattern. Here would be a low with a front and a front, which if you look at this, just take this verbatim, yeah, it's rain and thunderstorms here on Thursday. But this is the Euro model, okay? So we'll do this. Here's the Euro. This is the Euro, which you're looking at right here. This is the Euro. Now, let me change it to the GFS on the exact same time. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Look at that. Hardly anything. As the GFS. Hardly anything. So clearly there is a big spread between the modeling of how this Thanksgiving forecast is going to play out. And again, here's back to the Euro, which it's pretty rainy. And again, this is the Euro. So for Thanksgiving here, a front is likely. This is what I said yesterday. We'll say it again today. I'll make a better graphic to illustrate this for the news tonight. But y'all are on our weather stream, so you get the under the hood forecast and the details on what's going on in our heads. Is GFS says nothing. Euro says big rain with a front. We'll see it on the rain and storms. But what is likely is that there will be a front with a temperature drop. So there's front number one into Black Friday. But notice Black Friday clears. This is 4 p.m. on Black Friday. It clears on out nicely here. And this hypothetical front is to our east. However, there will be a storm after going into early December that likely tries to form. Now, this is getting way out in time. Way out in time. But this front going into December, this one probably will have a huge shot of Arctic air. And this should make it into Florida for early December. So whatever happens Thanksgiving weekend, it should get a little cooler. There is a sign of a fairly bigger Arctic cold front at some point the first week of December. But so if you're traveling back right now on Sunday, I mean, we'll watch the Mountain West for maybe some mischief here. Denver, Seattle, places like that. But I don't see anything that's major weather-related travel disruption for right now. That's just how I see it. So let's go under the hood now. Let's get into the model, shall we? So this is the let's do them side by side, shall we? So let's do 12-hour rain, and we'll get to Florida, and then we're going to compare this side by side to the GFS. So here's Thanksgiving of next week. So GFS is on the right, and the Euro is on the left. Let me make these full screen so you can see. So GFS right, Euro left. This is the rain for next Thursday. Pretty clearly, GFS says 0. Be talking about rain. Euro says maybe some decent thunderstorms. So there's definitely not an agreement on what's going to happen. And so to declaratively say there will be rain and storms yet, I think that's very premature. So the point is we have something to track that is tricky. I mean, we're talking about a forecast that's more than a week out. Of course, it's going to be uncertain. So there goes that front. And then you see here the GFS wants to bring in that Arctic front the third. The Euro brings it in about the fourth. But for Thanksgiving itself, here's Thanksgiving's rain. Yeah, there's clearly a difference And there also is in the temperature too. So here's the Euro and GFS for the temperature. This is Thanksgiving afternoon. I don't know if you can see the numbers, but clearly you can see the reds are deeper on the right. So the GFS is like 85, 84 for highs. Euro is like 75. So obviously the potential for rain will dictate if there is any change to the temperature, certainly for that. So case in point, here's the Euro model for temperatures, and notice this 58 for a high next Saturday. 58 for a high next Saturday, that would be pretty significant. And a low of 40 in Orlando. So that's the Euro. So after Black Friday, on Saturday the 29th, a high of 58 in Orlando. Here's the GFS, though. Saturday the 29th, 81. You see, the cold doesn't really come in until after, over here on the right. So there's definitely spread with that. Now let's look at the what we call the ensembles, and we'll look at some of the rain here. Yeah, it's definitely not all of them. Definitely not all of them. Yeah, it's only a handful. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But after that, I do want to show you this. So after Thanksgiving into early December, it does continue to look like. So here's that first shot of cold. This is Black Friday weekend. But again, how far south it makes to be determined. Whether we get just a little bit less warm or like notably cold, we'll see for Black Friday night and then next weekend. But after that, there's a bigger shot of cold looming here. Look at right here. Look up in Canada. Look at this up in Canada. You see that right there? This is some major cold that tries to break off the polar vortex and surge south. And the model doesn't go out that far in time, but this has been in the charts now for a while. That is probably what will be. That is probably what will be. You see that the cold start to build there. The cold comes south into December. But we shall see. So anyway, the short of it for Thanksgiving here is right now, the day before looks fine. Thanksgiving itself looks to be 70s or low 80s. Black Friday should get lower, the temperatures. How much lower, don't know yet. There should be a front that comes by either on Thanksgiving or Black Friday, but whether the front comes through with a lot of rain or not, don't know yet. I would kind of lean on the less rainy side, in my opinion, but we'll see. And then there's a bigger front looming for probably the first few days of December, which would be the following week. So after Thanksgiving is done, we're all back and families back where they came from and whatnot. Then we'll probably have a bigger front to track. But at least as of right now, I don't see anything headline making in terms of snowstorm, the snarl airports, or severe weather. I don't see that in the cards for right now. Let's see. What are you doing this weekend? Are you going to take a ride to the beach and drink a lemonade? I'm not a huge lemonade guy, William. Not a huge lemonade guy. I did get into sweet tea, though, because I lived in the South, or I lived in Kentucky for 6 years, so I did get into sweet tea, but I can't do the Southern style. I can't come around to the Southern hospitality way of having sweet tea where there's 20 gallons of sugar. So I generally lean unsweet tea. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of lemonade, but sweet tea or unsweet tea I would take, William. I don't know about a ride to the beach. We'll see. Penn State plays Nebraska Saturday night. It's one of the last games of the year, so I probably want to watch that. Saturday night. Let's see here. Carmen. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see what Carmen's saying. Happy Thanksgiving from Orlando, Carmen Valentine. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. Appreciate you watching here, Carmen. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Happy early Thanksgiving to you. Orange City checking in, Norman. Hello, hello from Wildwood, Amanda. Appreciate you watching, Amanda, from Wildwood. But yeah, if you got fam or friends coming in, we're going to watch, again, a drop in temperature, maybe some showers late Thanksgiving or early Black Friday, but the point is, it's not a lock yet that we're going to have a lot of rain, because as you saw, one model says it's totally dry, one says there's a lot of rain. So, and I kind of lean on the drier side, but we've got a whole week to fine tune that forecast for Black Friday and the day after, the way it stands right now. So, appreciate all of you watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Fox Local. But again, out there right now, it is just lovely. A lot of cloud out there. Interestingly, the air driver, it didn't look that busy. My friend and my girlfriend was at the theme parks earlier in the week and then last week, and they said, interestingly, at least on the weekdays, it wasn't that busy, surprisingly. I know TJ and Laurel did the Jollywood Nights on Monday, so we got that cooking right now. The Jollywood Nights looks like a fun time. I've never done that. I actually want to try that. But yeah, the theme parks is you pick probably the best week of the fall, definitely, to come in. There's the view from Lake Fairview. Right now, still very, 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 very nice. And from Ocala, let's go up a little more rural countryside here. You see from Marion County, very nice, with what I believe is a wasp or a bee on the top right of the camera there. From Daytona Beach, very nice as well. A couple of beach walkers out there today. And then there's the view of, I believe, rocket booster that just came back from landing. Pretty cool to see that from the Port Canaveral camera from a few days ago. And then the radar currently, again, is clear, calm, and nice and dry. So appreciate you watching on Facebook, YouTube, Fox Local. I'm going to go start getting ready and actually create a forecast for the 5, 6, 10, and 11. We'll get that cooking for you here and walk you through much more about Thanksgiving and all that good stuff coming up on the news tonight. So make sure you watch at 5, 6, 10, and 11. And don't forget, you got Marlisa with the 407 coming up on Fox Local and on the air at 4 o'clock. So appreciate you all watching. See you here coming up back tomorrow. And see you tonight on the good old-fashioned TV and on our web stream online. Have a good afternoon, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.